Talking about Impressionist painting, we mentioned about importance of sunlight and atmosphere. And just to prove the point, Monet has tried many times to do that. Many subjects, he paints like more than once, sometimes even 20 or 30. For example, in this painting, Rouen Cathedral, it was said that he painted 30 times just in order to prove that sunlight affects the outcome of your painting. So you also can find the other subject like Haystack. He did the same thing too. It says that every time he would want to paint like that, he would have to carry many canvas and place in same time, and he would paint them one by one, and according to time change, according to the movement of sunlight. And that makes it very interesting. So when you see that, you may be able to find the other 29 paintings similar to this one, the same subject. Okay. Now, next thing we want to do is talk about the post-impressionist. We know that when impressionism came up, it was not received very well because it was criticized that these people didn't know how to draw. Since even they say a child can draw better than did. But nowadays we know impressionist painting become very popular. But at that time, there are some other artists too. They feel the same way too. There were Cézanne, Van Gogh, and Gauguin, and Seurat. They were not happy because they think impressionist painter just paint straight whatever they see without going through any personal reassess or restructure the things, and they just kind of paint. So they're not happy about that. So they were not happy about it. So they want to do is they, based on whatever impressionist has accomplished, you want to redirect the energy, the style into something different. Okay. So first we want to talk about Cézanne. Cézanne was coming from a rich family. His father was banker. He did not have to make a living, so he could paint throughout his life. He was trying to become an impressionist painter. He tried to work with them, but he did not receive credit. So he went home and started painting around where he lives, and he painted his own style. And he started to restructure the objects or the things into the way he sees it, instead of just following the impressionist style. So he emphasized the geometric form, that one paints something, one have to look at the, see if they are internal of the sphere, cube, cylinder, or cone. And he also gave the same advice to young artists such as Picasso and Braque. And these two artists, they at the beginning of the 20th century, they followed the instruction, they develop their own style, they break down the form, and to put them back again, they become the famous Cubism. And that was another big breakthrough for the modern art, breakthrough from the traditional painting style into modern art. But we are going to talk about that in our next unit. But first, we just look at Cézanne's painting. You can tell from here that he depth or the mountain, the hills, the trees, or in terms of geometrical forms. Even on the left-hand side, the still life, you can see those apples or oranges, they all really hit us like geometric form. It's not like real apple or real orange. They have become restructured. So that's the key things to the modern art is the view, redirect or restructure, deforms of the anything and become whatever you see to fit into your scheme, your design scheme. Okay. So Cézanne was considered the father of modern art. And, we will discuss more in the next chapter. So what we want to say is basically that's a summarize again his painting style. Okay, he uses the colors brighter, and then his form is structured, and we did not see the same thing as Impressionist, that the sparkling of sunlight, and the form is much more, it's difficult to describe with forms that exactly like Impressionist, but it's much more sculpted, and has appears differently, and you can see if you compare with that and with his work and Impressionist, you can see that one is much more structured, and the other one is Impressionist is much looser. It's just the color combination and color put together, and so that was a big difference. But now we want to look at Vincent van Gogh, and Vincent van Gogh is born in Holland, and he was trying to be a art dealer. He was trying to be a teacher, a minister, but he didn't make it. And then he decided to become an artist. And at the age of 27, he was, we can say he was considered a self-learned artist. And he, at the beginning of his life, he painted very dark colors. But then after he associated with the Gauguins and the other artists, and his color became brighter, and he developed his own style, and he was a heavy brush stroke. And then here we can tell that first is the Starry Night. We see that before, we've seen that before, but then here we can tell the heaviest brush stroke, and show his almost like his in the emotional kind of turbulence in his feeling, or his strong desire. Then if you look at this painting on the right, you can see that you see the sunlight, not the sunlight, the lights in the cafe, that the lights are kind of vibrant and showing the energy. So even though the cafe looks sad, you see the people sitting, almost like homeless people sitting on a table, kind of napping, and it's almost like a deserved the scene. But nevertheless, you can feel the energy coming from the lights, but then you still feel the set about the whole thing.